live here on YouTube, and today we're talking about adaptogens, mushrooms, herbs, definitely everything that I know when it comes to the medicinal mushroom kingdom, adaptogens, herbs, different compounds are going to help take your life to the next level. I'm Thomas Mess, and I'm here to help you automate your life, automate basically your nutrition to really have more mental clarity, more energy, more focus, and ultimately more success. Been doing this for the last 8 years, been absolutely fired up and fascinated when it comes to longevity, nutrition. We're going to go over that today. We're also going to go over some of the top herbs that I'm using currently that basically help stress levels, anxiety levels, and we're going to go over all of that right here. So thank you guys for joining. If you really like nutrition, longevity, detox, cleansing content, then definitely like this video. It's going to help the YouTube algorithm. So let's just get straight to it. This is, we're going to probably do this once a week. And I also just created a blog, thomasmesson.com. If you guys are interested in getting really awesome content regarding nutrition, cleansing, detoxification, longevity, all my research, you can actually go over to thomasmesson.com. And there you will find basically everything that is up to date that I'm learning. And I like to just have that as a platform where it's like, as I'm researching, as I'm finding new things, you're going to get updated content basically 24/7. I try to do one every single day. So if you are interested, like I said, in cleansing, detox, herbs, medicinal mushrooms to really help shift your consciousness, then definitely go over there. I just created one regarding water, and yesterday I actually found out that the water filter that I was using for the past 2 years actually doesn't filter out any fluoride at all. And what a rookie mistake. I mean, I kind of knew that. Like, I knew Brita wasn't going to. Hopefully that helps. That would have probably sounded a little bit better. But for the longest time, I've been doing Brita, and for the last 2 years, and I thought it maybe filtered out some fluoride, but it turns out that it actually filters 0 fluoride. And when I did the TDS score, it only took out about like 20 ppm, which is like parts per million. And so the Brita filter actually makes like no difference when it comes to filtering out tap water, filtering out fluoride. Yeah, it claims that it filters out a little bit of chlorine and stuff like that. But it does taste good, but the taste can be deceiving. It doesn't actually filter out what you want, which is like fluoride. No one wants to drink fluoride. If you want to age rapidly, if you want to calcify your brain, if you want to absolutely like destroy your body, then definitely consume tap water. My TDS score on my tap water was 230, which is like average, but I'm not here to be average at all. And, I want my score to be anywhere from 0 to 50. That's like really good. That's where you're going to find like where spring water's at. Really, really good water is going to be at around 0 to 50. And I did an article today, and it said that basically what I said was that, tap water, like I said, like 0 to 50 is really good. Distilled waters is at about 0 to like 5. My tap water was at like 230. The 0 filter, which I talk about, which I just replaced, and obviously it's not perfect. Like, you want spring water, which is, like I said, 0 to 50 ppm, and like it's like around 100 TDS. That's where you want it at, and you don't want anything over like 50. I also did some research and found out that most water bottles, like pretty much all the water bottles on the market, have like high levels of fluoride, chlorine, and none of them actually filter out fluoride. So it's pretty disgusting. It's all just like marketing hype, and it's all a huge gimmick. And if you're someone that doesn't want tap water, but you're consuming like water bottles because you think it's a healthy alternative, I would do the research, because there's microplastics, the parts per million the TDS scores aren't even that good when it comes to like bottled water. It has tons of fluoride, it has chlorine, it has microplastics, which I talked about in the blog, that microplastics actually, when they did studies, gave rats and mice like liver cancer and liver disease and stuff like that. So, and also, I did a testosterone video on YouTube. Plastics absolutely destroy like testosterone. They're very estrogenic. And if you're a man and you want a deeper voice, if you want to attract the opposite sex, if you want to basically be stronger, be just more masculine, the last thing that you want is to consume like plastic water. And it's crazy because people won't drink the tap water, but they stock up on all these water bottles, when in reality it's just as bad. So guys, like, we can talk about herbs, adaptogens, we can talk about medicinal mushrooms, which we will get into. You can take all that stuff, but if you don't actually change like the water you're taking, it's really not going to make a huge difference. So it's like compounding and kind of stacking the odds on your side. And if your water is bad, but you're doing everything else that's pretty healthy, it's not really going to make a difference. It's like being super, super healthy, but smoking cigarettes and you get lung cancer. I mean, you got to be careful, right, with the water that you consume. And if you are going to take these adaptogens, if you're going to take these herbs, you got to make sure they're organic. You got to make sure they're lab tested, because a lot of these superfoods, a lot of these things you get on Amazon probably have a lot of heavy metals. They're probably not properly sourced. And so you have to be extremely careful. You got to get trusted brands. You got to really look into the lab testing to make sure that these supplements don't have any heavy metals, pesticides, preservatives, glyphosate, things like that. So always go organic and really look into the research, look at studies, look at testing, make sure that this stuff doesn't have like heavy metals and toxic things, because a lot of these superfood green powders, they did like independent studies and they found a lot of heavy metals, even in like chlorella, spirulina, all these green juice powders. A lot of this stuff has a bunch of crap in it, bunch of heavy metals. So what you're trying to detox from, you're actually getting more from. So you need to be super careful. Like I said, look at lab testing, get things that are clean, pay a little bit more. That way, you're getting a good product. Always go organic. And if you can grow it in your house, then do that. I grow some mint, parsley. I have like $1,000 light in there. And I basically just grow herbs, superfoods, and I like to just grow a lot of my own stuff. I use organic soils, organic methods. I actually just use tobacco as like an insecticide instead of like glyphosate and crap like that. You can also use neem oil. There's many natural things. So if you are health conscious, maybe look into growing your own garden. You can do it inside, you can do it outside. If you live in the city like me, you can't really do it outside. So you could always get like an indoor tent and basically grow your own stuff. You can get like a cheaper light on Amazon for $50 to $100, and you can start growing your own herbs right inside. Makes your house smell really good. You're going to get clean oxygen. It's just really beneficial, right? So let's start getting into the adaptogens. It's kind of the main topic that I wanted to go into. So what's an adaptogen? An adaptogen is basically a very intelligent herb, like super intelligent, and it's able to actually regulate your system. For instance, if it sees that your like cortisol is too high, it's going to help bring it down. So for instance, like if you're really stressed and you have like, if a lot of your stress and anxiety is from like chemicals and like an imbalance in your body, and like your levels are all off in your body, and like you kind of just get like anxious or stressed out for literally no reason, there's probably something off. And your homeostasis is probably off. So a really good equilibrium to kind of just balance out your body, to just kind of feel better, is actually going to be consuming these adaptogens. These adaptogenic herbs are really, really important. And here in downtown, there's like Chinatown. So they have a bunch of like, really good herbs and adaptogens, and most of them are tested. Look for ones that are really good. And you can find like goji berries. I mean, you can literally find everything. Ginseng, poor man's ginseng, reishi mushroom, chaga. We're going to go into some of these shortly. But you want to find a really good market near you, or like I said, go on Amazon, but you kind of want like the fresh herb. You kind of want to find a place near you that actually has like a store that actually has all these herbs. And I'm kind of blanking on the main one that I go to. Uh, I'll actually put that in the show notes down below. But there's, in Chinatown, there's some really good shops where you can get all these medicinal herbs. But what are some of the top, like if I could give you like my top 5 medicinal herbs to actually look into, I kind of want to just go over a few of them here. So when it comes to like stress, anxiety, and if you have low testosterone, if you have low energy, you have like depression, you have anxiety and stress. If you have things like that, probably my top herb is going to be ashwagandha. It also helps to promote neurogenesis, which is like the creation of new brain cells, which is really fascinating stuff. And so ashwagandha is, I think, the top in Ayurvedic herbs. I think it's like number 1. So ashwagandha is incredible. It doesn't taste good, so I'm going to forewarn you right now. It literally tastes kind of like a horse, like however horses smell, it kind of tastes like that. So it's not really the best tasting thing ever, but you feel it literally within like 10 minutes. You just feel really, and like, I don't, because like I've had a bunch of herbs and I usually don't feel anything from it, but I promise you that if you take ashwagandha, you're going to feel a difference, especially if you micro or megadose on it. So if you take like a full tablespoon of ashwagandha powder, organic, make sure it's on Amazon. If you take like a tablespoon, you're going to absolutely feel it. You're going to feel like just an insane calmness. So if your brain was just all over the place, it's actually going to bring it down. It's going to regulate your brain back to normal levels. It's an adaptogenic herb. Like I said, it's probably it is the top in Ayurvedic medicine, which is India. So their top number 1 is actually ashwagandha. So like I said, if you have stress, anxiety, high cortisol levels, you're just stressed for no reason, there's probably an imbalance, like I said, in your equilibrium. And what ashwagandha does is it just balances out your levels. And that's the power of adaptogens. Number 2 is probably going to be ginseng. Obviously, it's more expensive, but ginseng has a bunch of saponins, and those are shown to increase longevity, basically just make you feel really good. Probably the best when it comes to energy and vitality. And so ginseng is really, really good. You can find those at local Chinese shops that are imported, or you can go on Amazon and just look for the root, or you can just start a little smaller, look for ginseng powder. You're not going to feel it as much. I would say that when it comes to adaptogens, ashwagandha is really, really good. So probably ashwagandha, number 1 for me. Number 2 is going to be ginseng. Number 3 is going to be goji berry. Goji berry is another one where you're actually going to feel it. I've taken like so many supplements and I'm like, yeah, I guess I felt it. Goji berry is another one where you're actually going to feel it. You're going to feel mental clarity. You're going to feel calmness. You're going to feel at ease. You're going to feel really clear-minded. It's really powerful stuff. In my opinion, it's also an adaptogen and nootropic, in my opinion. It's going to help with energy levels. If you have low energy levels, it's going to help bring that up. If you have like a lot of fog and brain fog like that, goji berry is going to help elevate that, make you more sharp. It's going to shift your consciousness. A lot of these herbs, the reason I am the way that I am is because I take a lot of different things, right? And so when you take a lot of different things, it's going to start to shift your consciousness. Definitely the medicinal mushrooms as well. When you take these medicinal mushrooms such as reishi, cordyceps, chaga, lion's mane, it's going to start to shift your consciousness. You're going to start to think different. You're going to be outside the box. And that's my goal for all of you guys, to be outside of the box. No one really wants to be in the box. We don't want to be sheep. We don't want to, really be a product or a byproduct of what mainstream media tells us, or what we're forced to learn in school, what we're shoved down our throat, forced to believe. And yes, it's good to believe in the real science, but a lot of things just can't really be proven. And so when you take these adaptogens, more the deeper concepts can't really be proven. when you start to take these medicinal mushrooms, these different herbs and things like that, it's going to actually shift your consciousness, in my opinion, in the right direction. You're going to be more creative, you're going to be smarter, it's going to increase your IQ, you're going to be able to form sentences better, you're going to just be way more intelligent, you're going to think outside the box. That's really useful in companies and organizations at like the highest levels, like being a business owner or a president or things like that. When you start to shift what you eat and what you take in, it's going to shift your perception for the better. And, it's going to also really like help you kind of enter into a different dimension, if that makes sense. I did a video how to get high naturally on the YouTube channel you might want to check out. And I talked about fasting, the power of fasting, and how you can kind of get into like this microdose state. So if you ever done lysergamides, which is like LSD, or shrooms, things like that, you have a glimpse of like that different dimension I'm talking about. And when you take these things, when you take reishi, when you take so things that aren't going to get you high, reishi is definitely going to shift your consciousness. Chaga is going to shift your consciousness. I'm trying to think of other ones. Mainly reishi, and from my experience, it really shifted my dreams. It really shifted my state at night, pretty much, where it's pretty noticeable difference. Like dreams are super complex and like a full-on movie. Like every time I go to sleep, it's like a full-on movie. And that has to do with also decalcifying my pineal gland, which we may get into. When you kind of decalcify, when you take all these adaptogenic herbs, these mushrooms, these superfoods, it shifts your consciousness. You have insane dreams. You can kind of just see clear. Your imagination's way more advanced, kind of like when we were kids. And getting off the fluoride, getting on clean spring water, or just really low ppm water, which is like parts per million, low TDS scores, like distilled water, reverse osmosis water, ionized water, carbon filtered water. Getting into those types of water, it's going to take out the fluoride, which is going to make your brain way more sharp, more clear. That itself is an insane adaptogen. Kind of sounded like someone was getting in the other room. It was crazy. But yeah, so let's get back on adaptogens. We went over ashwagandha, we went over ginseng, we went over goji berry. Maca's another really good one. It would probably be in my top 4 when it comes to like feeling it. And so maca is insane. I'm pretty sure in Peru it's their top of the top herb. When you go to Peru, like their top superfood is going to be maca, MACA. Unbelievable, vitality. You're going to basically have like the biggest boner you've ever had, if that makes sense. It's going to raise testosterone. You're going to it's kind of hard to sleep sometimes. Like it really raises your testosterone, and that's another one you're going to feel. You're going to have way more energy. It's going to help regulate your stress levels, your anxiety levels, which is super important. And that's what you want when it comes to herbs. You want to feel them, you want to tangibly know what they do in your body. And maca is incredible. So yeah, maca is going to give you more vitality. You're going to have, more pumps in the gym. You're going to have way more blood flow. It's a pretty insane adaptogen. Now let's go to the fifth one. In my opinion, chaga is one, even though it's a mushroom. In my opinion, chaga is an incredible mushroom that you actually feel. It's an insane nootropic as well. If you are a drinker, like let's say you take vodka or you drink things, put some chaga in there, put some reishi in there, get some medicinal herbs whenever you drink alcohol. It's going to also help with like a dual extraction. It's like a dual extraction method. So you get the water soluble and the alcohol soluble components of chaga, and you can put it in tinctures, you can put it under your tongue, or you can just put chaga in tea. And just the water soluble part of chaga is like insane. You're going to have insane mental clarity that you actually feel. It's going to shift your consciousness. It's going to take you to the next level spiritually, mentally. So those are probably my top 5: ashwagandha, ginseng, goji berry, maca, and chaga. Really good place to start when it comes to adaptogenic herbs. Those are ones that you're actually going to feel. It's going to help bring down your stress. and it's going to really modulate and regulate your body to reach an equilibrium or homeostasis within the body. Some other ones that I didn't talk about that are just fantastic adaptogens are going to be holy basil. Holy basil is also really good that you will actually feel. It's going to really help with stress, anxiety, things like that. Go-to cola, absolutely incredible. It's a nootropic, a super nootropic. It's one of the top longevity substances of the world, which is Go-to cola. It's a green powder you can find on Amazon. Like I said, make sure you always go organic. Make sure you always look at products that are lab tested. Some other super adaptogenic herbs, I would say like green tea as well. It has a lot of catechins. It has L-theanine, which is also a super nootropic. So the reason why green tea doesn't really give you that jitterness feeling is because of the L-theanine, which is like really, really good for your brain. It really helps you to be super clear-minded. And if you just take like straight L-theanine supplementation, like it's pretty insane. It's a really nice nootropic. So the green tea, really healthy for you. And it also doesn't blunt your inflammation. So like there's good inflammation. So like when you work out and you get like a really nice pump in the gym, you actually don't want to take all these antioxidants and vitamin C's and supplements because it can actually interfere with the good inflammation that's going on after you have a workout. Green tea actually does not affect that at all within the body. So green tea is like really, really cool. It's intelligent in my opinion. It's going to help your brain feel super clear. It's going to help you live longer. Some of the longest living people in the world consume green tea. It helps with things like, I'm not going to say it, but the C word. Helps with that, helps with disease, helps with illness, helps with just basically helps you to have more brain clarity and more focus. And if you're working out, if you have a job, if you're an owner and you got to get to work, green tea is really good. Yerba mate is really, really good for mental clarity. It's another form of caffeine, really high in caffeine actually. It's a little bit on the psychedelic side as well. So it's going to kind of shift your consciousness a little bit. I kind of get that feeling with green tea as well, like matcha green tea kind of shifts my consciousness a little bit. And then obviously when it comes to coffee, which is the most pesticide laden plant in the world or crop in the world, coffee, make sure it's always organic, make sure it's whole bean. So when you get the whole beans, you blend them up right there on the spot. You don't want it to be already grinded for you because all the oils and everything is already oxidized. It's rancid. So there's no point. You're really not getting any health benefits at all if you're consuming the coffee with it already pre-ground. So you want to make sure you get the whatever coffee you get, make sure it's whole bean. Make sure you grind it on the spot. If you like decaf, make sure it's whole bean, water processed only, because decaf can actually be pretty detrimental to your health if it's done, because most of the time it's done with like super harmful chemicals and things like that. So you want to make sure it's like water processed. Okay, so the herbs. What other herbs have I missed? Reishi is really good. If you want to mix the reishi mushroom with your coffee, it's going to really help balance out that jitteriness feeling. So reishi, fantastic. Definitely up there. What else? So other super adaptogenic herbs. Some things that I did not talk about. Let's just actually look at, because those are most of the ones that came to me, but I know I've missed a couple. Schizandra is really, really good. So Schizandra is probably one of my top herbs. It's a berry. You actually will feel Schizandra too in more of like a sexual way. It like just kind of just gets your fluids moving, if that makes sense. So Schizandra is really, really good. It's going to it's also really good for like sperm quality and things like that, like reproducing. Really helps like your reproductive glands and organs. And Schizandra is like it actually nourishes all. It has 5 different tastes to it, so it's like sweet, sour, bitter, pungent. I forget what the 5 are, but when you take Schizandra berry, like you're like, whoa, that's like insane. It's like literally sour, pungent, sweet, bitter. Like I'm stalling on the 5th one, but incredible herb. probably like that and goji berry are my top ones. So like, let's say you have lemonade, you want to take it to the next level, put some Schizandra and goji berry. That's like an unbelievable combination. Best lemonade ever. And that's like a powerhouse. Schizandra is actually proven to really be good with liver and kidney function. So if like you have liver issues, kidney issues, reproductive issues, Schizandra is absolutely where you want to go. Really good for women as well. Let's think of some other ones. We went over holy basil, green tea, Schizandra, goji berry. What are some other ones? Let's look at so when I see them, I'll be able to talk about them. Let's see. Cordyceps is a really good one. Cordyceps is actually a fungi, really good for brain health, really good for mental clarity. That's another one you're going to feel. A lot of these nootropic stacks have cordyceps in them, and yeah, I mean, who doesn't want more brain clarity, more focus, especially if you're an owner, CEO, and you don't want to do Adderall, you don't want to do the Vyvanse and all that crap. The cordyceps mixed with lion's mane and maybe a microdose of nicotine are going to be really, really good. Okay, so let's look at some of these other adaptogens. Rhodiolas are really, really good ones. Going to help you live longer. So rhodiola is up there in traditional Chinese medicine, I believe, and just really, really good. It's going to help with stress, anxiety. So it's also a really good modulator of hormones, of stress, of all that stuff. Astragalus root is the one that I missed. Astragalus, or also known as TA65, when they actually extracted that, it actually is shown to grow telomeres. So if you want to live longer, extend your telomeres, start consuming more astragalus tea. It's also a lung tonic. And, lung things are probably important right now with what's going on. And so astragalus is unbelievable. I mean, it's going to help clear out the lungs. It's tastes pretty good. It's pretty sweet. Like I said, TA65, super expensive stuff, but that's like a really concentrated form of a component within astragalus. But just go with astragalus, man. Look for a good astragalus product. It's going to lengthen your telomeres. It's going to make you live longer. It's going to slow down the aging process. And who doesn't want that if you want to live for a long time? Let's see what else. Gynostemma, really, really good longevity herb. They did a little study in China to see what, they looked at like the longest centenarians in a part of China. I'm not sure what part of China it was, but a commonality that they saw with these people living to like 105, 110, etc. They were consuming Gynostemma tea, which I believe is the top saponin-rich like just compound in the world or plant in the world. Gynostemma, it has way more saponins than ginseng. It's cheaper than ginseng too. So, and it also is really, really good with blood sugar, and if you have diabetes and things like that. Gynostemma is absolutely amazing. If you study anything regarding like blood sugar and diabetes, you'll find out that Gynostemma is probably one of the best for that. We talked about reishi, goji berries. I mean, I think we hit some of the main heavy hitters when it comes to adaptogens. And now let's kind of shift towards, and I guess that these could all kind of tie into superfoods and mushrooms. We kind of went over all the mushrooms, to be honest. Reishi is incredible. Donwood reishi is probably the best. Red reishi is really good. Like darker reishi is really good. Obviously, lion's mane is fantastic for brain health, neurogenesis. Ashwagandha also good for neurogenesis. Let's kind of talk about lung health, because I just think that's such an important topic right now. Foods rich in vitamin E are just so important. So foods that are rich in vitamin E, let's look at a few of them. I know obviously broccoli is a big one, really good for the lungs as well. And I think lung health is probably one of the most important uh, things right now. Like I said, because of that C word, I'm not going to talk about is going to mess up the YouTube algorithm. So I'm just looking here, some of the top vitamin E rich foods: almonds, beet greens, collard greens, spinach, pumpkin seeds. Let's see what else. We have different oils, which is interesting. Avocado. Um, let's see what else we have. Salmon. So it looks like some of the nuts and seeds, the avocados, the healthy fats, the broccoli, the dark leafy greens. It looks like blueberries, fish, like sardines and salmon, like I said. Really good for vitamin E health. Other really, really good things for the lungs are going to be like citrus. So I did a blog where we go over a detox plan, and I talked about how like citrus fruits really, really good for the lungs. They help to clear out all the mucus and all the crap in your lungs. So, grapefruit, fantastic for lung health. Other things like lemon, like different citrus-based foods, even oranges. Um, what else? Yeah, pretty much like most fruits, like pineapple, really, really good. So if you want to do like a little lung detox smoothie, I would do pineapple, grapefruit, and lemon. Like those three, you're gonna actually feel it. Like even just lemon with the peel, that alone, you're gonna actually feel it in your lungs. So you're gonna just be able to like breathe better. Astragalus, really, really important. Some other lung meridian tonics are going to be stinging nettle tea, amazing for lungs. There's a lot of studies on everything that I just said when it comes to lung health. So stinging nettle, fantastic for lungs. Astragalus, fantastic for lungs. The grapefruit, like I said, the citrus peels, and things like that are going to be really good for the lungs. Working out, meditating, deep breathing, consuming these adaptogens are just going to help regulate the body. And consuming like the ashwagandhas and the macas of the world are going to help just kind of regulate hormones. And all that's really important, because when your hormones are good, when you have energy, you're able to go out there and work out and be happy. Some of the longest people in the world, they make sure that air is super important for them. They are always moving, and they're always they're working out. Like movement's one of the top things when it comes to longevity, even if it's just walking. I mean, walking's probably healthier than like hardcore working out. Another thing is they're really connected with family and their community and their groups. Like the longest living people in the world, they're super close with family. They're super close with community. They have friendships. They're not alone. They have friends. They have partners. They have a lot of movement every single day. And one diet, like none of them, like if you look at all the different blue zones in the world, all their diets are different. But the commonalities are faith. So they believe in a greater power. They get movement. They have a really close family. And they eat pretty much whole food, plant-based diet. I think that's a pretty common characteristic. Yes, they get like salmon and meat, but it's not a lot of protein, interestingly. So, the carnivore diet, which is a new big craze, is maybe good for a month, but I wouldn't do long-term protein consumption. I don't think it's necessarily healthy. But guys, thank you for watching this video. This is the first podcast we're officially doing on this Thomas Messon blog. So if you guys found value, like it. It's going to help that YouTube algorithm. Leave a comment down below with some of your top Ayurvedic or adaptogenic herbs, mushrooms, or superfoods. And guys, thank you for watching. This is a bunch of fun, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.